All right, well, first thing I had for you guys, obviously it's been a journey, right? A grind through the Texas junior college basketball slate. You got 3 Texas teams in the Final Four, so talk about what a grind this season has been and what it's taken to get your team here to this Final Four.
Yeah, it started in July. Plus, first off, these young men are incredible people. I've been blessed to coach one of the best group of young men I've ever been around as a team, as far as their character, their work ethic, their dedication, their commitment, their buy-in. Basically all being new, first year, and they've bought into the style of play, the system on both the offensive and defensive end of the court, and really just to the discipline that it takes to be an everyday guy in what we do, and it's a total credit to the players. And then, when you talk about the Texas Junior College League, I mean, we played an unbelievable schedule. We played 33 Division I games. Our non-conference, we played Weatherford and Grayson, who were both in the region tournament. They made it, and then we went to the East-West Texas deal. We played West Texas and Clarendon and that, and then we went down to Florida. We played Tallahassee, who was ranked 18th at the time. Northwest Florida was in the top 10, and Chipola was in the top 25. And then you go into the Region 14 schedule, and what a gauntlet. A 22-game home and home, true champion. And, we went through that undefeated at home, and we won the championship in the region. And then to go play the region championship and play them teams again for the third time. And, we played, in the first game, we played Kilgore, who was a top 10 defensive team. We played Lee, who's a top 10 defensive team. And we played Panola, who's a top 10 defensive team. And throughout the year, 19 of our games have been against top 30 defensive teams in the country. So we are battle tested. And that was a big reason why we were able to come back in the game, because of our schedule and our region, and I'm just really proud of these young men.
Yeah, and you touched on it at the top there, just the new group coming in. For the players at the table, that's a challenge that isn't talked about as much, but you're coming in with a bunch of new guys that you're trying to learn and mesh together. But how have you guys ended up bonding over the course of this season?
Just being around each other since July. I mean, we're all stuck in the same dorms. We're all right there next to each other. We see each other every day, 2 practices, 3 practices a day, seeing each other, getting to know each other. It's a great time getting to know new people.
Yeah, anything bad?
I say we spend more time with each other than we probably do anybody else. So it naturally comes together. And then especially when you're putting in the type of work we put in together, it's like we've been through tough times with each other. So when we get in tough situations, we know we can depend on each other. So I say that is the most important part.
Yeah, I would say just when the practices get real hard, I felt like the team would just come together a lot easier. I felt like it just created a bond that we will all remember when it comes to like 30 years. I look back towards it.
Yep. For everyone on the table, just talk about Hutch, the journey here, and what's the mindset that you guys have carried into this tournament?
To win it all. I mean, journey, it's been a long journey. I mean, we're prepared, we're ready, just one game at a time.
We know not to take nobody for granted, especially because we know everybody's here for a reason. So when we take every game, we take it one at a time. We don't look past anybody. We just want to win the possession, keep winning the possession, and then come out on top at the end of the game.
Coach talked about one play, next play. Just if you mess up on the next play, just try to make a difference out there. So I feel like we're prepared, especially against Panola. This will be our 4th time playing them. I feel like it's going to be a great game. So.
Right, that was a good segue. I was going to bring up Panola next. Just going into this semifinal, another team that you've seen a lot of this year. What's the preparation like heading into Panola tomorrow?
Go ahead, Jim.
I mean, just watch back how we played them before. Watch the things that we did good, watch things we did bad, and correct those things.
it's kind of like playing somebody that you like a brother, you know, like you keep playing your brother in one-on-one, and they know us like the back of their hand, and we know them like the back of our hand. So we just got to review the film, see what we did good, see what we made mistakes on, what we could do better, and try to figure out a way to put together a game plan to come out on top.
Yeah, I'm agree with both of them. Also, it comes down to we wanted more. You know what I'm saying? It's that mentality that we need to have going into the game. It's just what's going to come down to. We both know each other. We know our strengths and weaknesses. It's just going to come down to once more at the end of the day.
And then, Coach, for you, you've had plenty of experience around college basketball, but what is it that makes the junior college level so special?
The people, student athletes, the kids I get to be around, the young men I get to be around every day. Our model is get better one day, one play, on to the next play, on to the next day. We don't hold grudges, no matter how intense the practice gets. No matter if you had your best day or your worst day or you got kicked out of practice, the next day is a new day. I love, after going through what I've been through, it's been a blessing from the good Lord to be around these guys every day and to get the opportunity just to be at a wonderful place like Trinity Valley that has great resources. I said it from the beginning, it's a blue blood junior college in general for all sports, not just for basketball, for all sports. Our volleyball team is elite. Our soccer team was really good this year. Our women's basketball team has won 8 national championships. Our football team's won 2 national championships. Our cheer and dance squad has won, I don't even know how many, probably 17 national championships. So being at a place where winning's important, and it starts at the top with our great president, Dr. Morrison. There's high standards and there's high accountability. And, as someone that's been in college basketball for a long time, that's like a dream come true for me to be at a place like this. But to be around these guys every day, I just love coming to work every day and seeing their bounce back, seeing their resilience, and seeing them the sacrifice. Like yesterday was a perfect example of these guys played about 15 straight minutes. I've played 12 guys in a rotation all year long, and those guys that weren't in the game were on the bench cheering them on like they were in the game. And that's what family, that's what team, that's what winners act like. And so it's again a credit to these young men.
All right. Any other questions?
Coach, you were here with Wichita State under Coach Marshall a few years ago, Steve Forbes, and some of those others, and then you moved on. And experience under Marshall, you want to talk about a little bit?
Excuse me?
Experience
under Marshall? Oh, the best. He's the best. His wife, Lynn, his family, they're amazing people. We got along. We have the same drive. He wants to win. He's very intense. He's very passionate. He wants his players to get better every day. He's going to push them to limits they've never been pushed before. He's going to push you as an assistant coach to a limit you've never been pushed before. But once business is over with, he's a down-to-earth, normal human being, and they have a great family, and they just took my wife and daughter and myself in, and he's one of my favorite people I've ever been around, and one of the best families I've ever been around. And I can't say enough of good things about just how much I've learned from him. But at the end of the day, what I learned from him is it's about controllables. And it's in our locker room, right down and I talk about it with these guys all the time. You can't control makes and misses, but you can control pretty much everything else that goes on, and you can hold yourself to a high standard. And that was every day with him. And he would always say, character, recruit character. Find me good young men, because we can do more with less. And, I can just hear it in my head all the time when it comes to putting a team together. And that's what I'm blessed to have, is a team that's full of character. And it all started from when I worked for Greg Marshall. So great question. And I could talk about Greg Marshall all day.
Greg, you said earlier you referenced referenced maybe getting after the guys a little bit, but being able for them to bounce back, for you to bounce back. You got a little smirk out of this young man on the end. So I'm curious from the student athletes, what's been your experience with Coach Heiar? And be honest, how's that gone for you?
It's been great. I mean, I've learned a lot more than I thought I'd ever know about basketball. He's pushed me to be better, and it's insane how much I've gotten better from last year to this year. Just learning basketball and developing skill for the game of basketball.
I've been with him 2 years, so I learned a little more outside of basketball. More so like life things, like you got to put in hard work to get what you want in life. And with hard work and faith, you'll get a little bit of luck. And I've learned a lot of patience as well, too. Like, some people you got to have real good patience with and listen to the message and not how it's said. That's one thing I think our generation missing a lot. We got to listen to what's being said and not how it's said. And on top of basketball, I just learned them. It's light years how much better I became in 2 years.
Yeah, man, he's a great coach. Played against him last year. Just the way he played against us and all that. I was like, man, I need to come here next year. And I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm still here with him, ride or die. He'll do anything for me. I'll do anything for him. I'll have my bad days, and he'll text me like motivation and stuff. Just get my head locked back in, and just can't thank him enough.
So one more question for him is, how many steps do you think he takes up and down the bench before getting there? We've had a counter on him this week, so I actually have a number. I'm just kidding. You don't need to answer anything.
Well, I'd like to say too, just from coaching these guys, like Garrett's a perfect example. The first day, first practice, Garrett learned real quick. He's going to work hard. You know, I saw something in him the first time I met him, and I was not going to allow him to shortcut himself. I was going to teach him what hard work is all about, and that you got more in you than. And he could have walked away the first day. He could have walked away. It was intense. It was probably something he had never experienced before. He played for his dad in high school. His dad's a high school coach. You know, and you know what? He came back for more every day, and his family supported the coach the whole time, the whole way through. And you know, I can say that about both of these guys, like all of them. We've all had our run-ins, okay, where I'm going to make things very difficult, and my expectations for them are, you know, sometimes for a lot of players it's higher than their expectations are for themselves. But my model is we strive for perfection to achieve excellence. And so when you have that type of model, you're going to have some rocky days, but you know, it's next day. There's no holding grudges. Like you know, and I told him, you create luck. You got to have some luck to win a national championship, and you create that by your discipline and your work ethic and doing the right things, being good to people when you see them in the community or you see them on campus or in the lunchroom. These guys are walking billboards of Trinity Valley Community College as far as how they represent themselves every single day. So, you know, through the ups and the downs, we're here in the Final Four, and we get an opportunity to have round 4 versus Panola. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this.
Coach, this one's more of an X's and O's question, but your defense has been fantastic all year long. Take me under the hood of your system that you run and how you built that with these players, especially the new guys coming in and getting them into your defensive system.
Well, you want the short version, or you want the real version? The real version is when I got let go at New Mexico State. I went to my parents' condo in Arizona, in Mesa, Arizona, and I went to the pool every day. I had me a little vodka and lemonade, and I studied Kelvin Sampson. I said, if I get another opportunity, we're going to have to be the best defensive team in the country. So who's the best defensive team in the country at that time? Was Kelvin Sampson in Houston. So I read every article that they wrote about him. So I watched every YouTube. I watched all his synergy clips. I watched game after game after game. I called Kelvin Sampson because when I was at Wichita State and he first got the job, they tried to hire me at Houston to be one of their assistants. So I have a good relationship with him and his pops. And, I put together this defensive system, and our defense was elite at Wichita State, but we do some things differently than we did at Wichita State. And I got the opportunity at Minnow area, and we were the #1 defensive team in the country last year, and we're an elite defensive team this year as well. How to install it? It's basically we do reminder drills every single day to the fundamentals of defense. Closing out with a high stick hand. Poke and pop back, stunning every pass, loud and early on communication, being at the line of scrimmage, having a Meg. The Meg is the bottom guy that protects the rim, the most important guy. We call him the Meg. And then who's got the first pass out? And we've got shell drills and lead-up drills that take about anywhere. It used to take about 30 minutes. Now we can do it in 12 minutes. So some days we do it in 8 minutes. And in the reminder drills, it's just fundamentals. It's basic fundamentals, and they can get old, right, Schmitty?
Yeah.
They can get old and monotonous, but and then when they do, they end up just going to the line because they got to understand the importance. The only way you can make the big things possible is to do the little things. So that's how the system defensively got into play, and I still watch all Houston's games and watch if they do little different things. But it makes it great for tournament play because we don't change how we play. All we do is focus on KYP. Our other team, what their strengths are, who's a shooter, who's a driver, who likes to go right, who likes to go left. But as far as if it's a pass follow or it's a dribble handoff or if it's a post feed or if it's an elbow catch, we have the same calls, right? The same schemes, so that doesn't change. We don't go from guarding a ball screen one way to guarding it another way when we go into the game. So it becomes a habit, and there's less thinking that they have to do when they're out there, so they can play their game.
Greg, how's this team compared to your Northwest Florida team?
Numbers-wise, better. I would say competition-wise during the year, better schedule, harder schedule, more battle-tested. That team, though, won 5 games in 6 days. That was an amazing accomplishment. We kind of hit lightning in a bottle, but when you look at all the players on that team, they're all played in the NCAA tournament. They're all starting at the Division I level. They're all their numbers are better at the Division I level than they were when they played for me. They had a lot of sacrifice, that team did, and this team is no different. If you look at our stat sheet, they're almost identical, and this team rebounds it better, takes care of the ball better, is bigger than that team. We're bigger, we're longer than that team was. That team was a little better offensively than this team.
Seems to be a little bit better defensively.
Yeah, this team is a better defensive team. That team was a little bit better of an offensive team. But defense wins championships, so both teams are good. But they can tell you because they've gotten I sent them stuff like our numbers and Houston's numbers. You look at our stat sheet, you look at Houston's stat sheet, they're almost identical, aren't they? Yeah. And they all know that. My stat sheet from Northwest to this team, almost identical, like points per game, number of guys that average between 6 points and 12 points. It's basically the same, and we're about team. Anybody on any night, it could be their night, and that's what makes us hard to play against because we have a lot of guys on this team that are capable of going for 15 or more in a game, and we have a lot of pieces that we can go to off the bench depending on if we need offense, we need defense, whatever we kind of need in winning time in the last 10 minutes of the game.
Anything else?
So we've gotten to see Panola a couple of times, not to bring them up again, but hey, you're playing in round 4. We've seen them be extremely frustrating for other teams. From your perspective, what makes them such a pain in the you-know-what to play?
Go ahead, Gary. You want
I don't really know. They pass the ball pretty well. They get in the paint pretty well and hit their shooters, and they can shoot the ball. So I mean, we just have to be able to close out, get out there on time, make them have to drive the ball.
They're one of the teams that really know their personnel. So, like, they really play to their strengths, and they play to the other team's weaknesses. And that can cause problems for the other team because I say they're one of the more prepared teams going into games. That's what makes them so frustrating.
Yeah, they just know KYP really well. They'll play your weaknesses, know all of our plays. They'll watch film a lot, and they go back to what works for them. So it should be a good game.
Yeah, and their defense is really good too. Their defense is really good. They got size, they got length, they got big guards. They got Coy is he's the straw that stirs the drink. He drives the train down the tracks, and he's really good at getting into the paint. 12 assists last night. He's been doing it all year long, and he can score too. He's had games where he's the other guys aren't making shots, and he just takes over and puts them on their back. So offensively, they're very dynamic because of their ability to shoot the ball and make threes, and then defensively, like these guys said, just their ability to play KYP and understand they understand what the trigger is on our sets. They understand, to take away, making the first entry hard. So it's like Garrett said, we know them, they know us. It's gonna be a lot of fun. They're really good. They're well coached. Well coached. Joe's a very, very good coach and a great man. Great family man. We talk a lot, and I'm happy. I'm a competitor. You want to play good coaches, good teams that are well coached, and he's a bright young star in college basketball coaching.
How important is it that you have your cheer squad here, your band? You're one of the only teams I see out here. A lot of teams don't bring their cheer squad, their bands anymore. Does that inspire you all more? Or?
Well, if it was up to Doc, he'd have 2 more buses full of cheerleaders and students on campus, and he would bus them up. It's amazing. It's amazing. To have our cheerleaders there, it just shows the support from the top. And just the support that our team. Our home games were packed. Everybody supports everybody in Athens, Texas, and the surrounding area. But the student athletes on campus, and they're really good at what they do too. They're national champions, And our band is electric.
Yeah. Well, bring them up here. We'll take those 2 buses.
Doc, you want to, don't you?
I don't have 2 buses.
If he did, they would be here, trust me.
Hey, we have a bus company in town. We'll fix this.
Greg, I got one final one for you. Obviously, 3 of the 4 that are in the Final 4 here are Texas teams. What's that say about junior college basketball in the state of Texas?
It's amazing. It's a Friday Night Lights state, but I've been saying it all year. I've said it publicly multiple times. We play in the best league in the country. Very well coached. Everybody's got bodies. True home and road, but West Texas is elite too. There's teams that are at home that could have won games in this tournament from West Texas and East Texas. Our Region 14 that aren't here that we've played that, we say after the game, boy, our 6th place team, our 5th place team, our 4th place team in our league could have won games out here. So says a lot about, you want to come to Texas and you want to play against good competition and you want to get better. And you're going to play all Division I games because there's Division I schools all around you. So and if you want to go play prep schools or Division III teams, because Dallas is full of Division III teams too, you can do that if you want. If you want to take over someplace and make your schedule easier. But just the commitment from the top of all the schools, that's really what it starts with. And then, who doesn't want to live in Texas? So, and these facilities, all the schools have great facilities and experienced coaching. Guys, there's a lot of experienced coaching in the state of Texas. If you were to go down all the head coaches on, Region 14, and I think it's Region 5, West Texas, there's some really, really good experienced coaches. And there's a lot of oil money there too, so I'm sure that the budgets are pretty good all around the state as well. Which, budgets and scholarships are really important to putting together a good team and being able to take care of your team as well.
Any closing statements from anybody?
We're just excited to be here. You guys do an amazing job with your tournament. Tomorrow's going to be electric. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I know that the community is going to come out big to support the Final Four, and to have the games on ESPN Plus and the championship game on ESPNU. This tournament has come a long, long way from the days when I was coming here at Chipola, and you had to win your region to come, and when you lost, you had to play I call it the NBA All-Star game because, it was a double elimination, but the game didn't mean anything. So it turned into like an NBA All-Star game to what we got now, and to just have this for these young men to do this press conference and to have the meal. I mean, this tournament has come so far, and it's all because of what you guys do. So we're very thankful.
Well, thank you. Congratulations, and all good.
Appreciate it.